An issue that has divided America for decades. The recent Supreme Court memo leak has once again sparked the choice debate across the United States. Abortion in the United States is guided by the landmark Supreme Court case Roe v. Wade. The 1973 case decided that access to abortion is a constitutional right. The 1992 ruling, Planned Parenthood v. Casey, further upheld it. It says that women can get an abortion until the fetus is viable. That's usually around 22 to 24 weeks. So what happens if the Roe v. Wade judgment is overturned? It will then fall on individual states to decide on the legality of abortion.
Sexual health and well-being for millions.
So if Roe v. Wade is in fact overturned, you'd have about half of U.S. states that are expected to quickly move to ban abortion. Of those, 13 states have what's called trigger laws, which are specifically written not to go into effect unless Roe is overturned. But if Roe was overturned, they would immediately be near total bans on abortion.
In Louisiana, specifically, a committee has proposed a bill allowing homicide charges to be brought against people who get abortions or perform them.
Out the need for implantation. Representative McCormick?
Yes. Both medical and scientific advances over several decades have provided us with a greater understanding of pregnancy and the stages of a fetus, making it clear the act of abortion ends the life of a human being. The taking of a life is murder, and it is illegal. Louisiana law currently fails to provide equal protection for human life. Persons are deemed unworthy of legal protection for no other reason that they are not yet born.
Senate Republicans for a long time have fought to end Roe v. Wade, but now, with the victory they wanted in near sight, there appears to be a split in the red zone. Charlie Baker, the Republican Massachusetts governing, has publicly denounced the looming changes. He has called it a massive setback for women in states. Similar comments also came from Phil Scott. The Republican leader in Vermont has reaffirmed his support for the right to abortion. He says that the fundamental rights of all women will be defended, protected, and preserved in Vermont. While New Hampshire's Chris Sununu promised to protect women's rights, saying healthcare services for women will remain safe and legal with him as governor. Ever since the possibility of making abortion illegal made headlines, protests are being held across the United States. Women from all walks of life have taken to the streets. They're calling for the right to their own bodies and to their own futures.
Thank you for being here. Like she said, I'm a nurse practitioner at Kings County Hospital in Brooklyn.
In the house along with many other working people, right?
My first thoughts were, I just can't believe that we're even thinking about going back. It's going to be so horrific for women, and really hurt the lives of so many women, and I think it's absolutely atrocious. I just still can't wrap my head around it. It's probably very likely that it'll happen, but I really hope that it doesn't.
First of all, bottom line, a woman's body is a woman's body. This is my body. You don't know what goes on inside of it. You can't tell me what to do with it. Take your hands off of my body, please.
For more on this story, we're being joined by our correspondent, Susan Teherani from New York. Susan, good day to you. I wanted to ask you about these pro-choice Republicans and their comments. I mean, is that surprising? Does it speak to actually a very complex picture of a divided America on the issue of abortion?
Absolutely, and it really shows that how much politics should be taken out of such an issue like abortion, and this is what at least this draft opinion memo by Justice Alito was trying to do, because it becomes so complicated. And on the one hand, there is no doubt that this issue of abortion will take a premier spot in governorship races, in legislative races, in the midterms come this fall. And I think that one of the reasons that you see these Republican politicians in some of these blue states making these comments is because of that. But the question ultimately lies is because abortion has become so political, first of all, will it take that premier spot in the voters' mind and have that federal priority above inflation, above crime, above critical race theory 6 months down the line or not, and whether or not these Republican candidates who are walking on eggshells on this issue will have to then later on, when this issue is resolved, have to walk back this issue, because ultimately they flip-flopped because of a midterm where this issue is so hotly contested, as we saw in the case of Joe Biden. So I think this is one of the reasons why for years, for decades, politics should have been taken out of abortion. I think that's why this was the case, and now that it's in the forefront and this leak has happened, it's become so widely political, and this is where politicians are right now.
That was Susan Teherani, thank you, reporting for us live from New York. There are still months to go before the US top court announces its decision on the Roe versus Wade judgment. The results could turn out to be the complete opposite of what the leak said. It could also be the same. And amid this uncertainty, the focus has shifted to abortion pills, the next target for the anti-choice group. Abortion pills have gained popularity across the US in recent years. Figures suggest that more than half of abortions in America are done with pills, not surgery. The pills are easy to access. Right now, there are many ways to buy abortion pills. You can get them at drugstores, you can buy them online, depending on where you live.
My union brothers and sisters, thank you for being here.
When someone attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! What do we do? Stand up, fight back! What do we do? Stand up, fight back!
For abortion seekers, cross-border trips, remote doctors' consultations, and packages of pills delivered in the mail offer hope they can skirt state restrictions. For anti-abortion activists and politicians, those cross-border trips and pill deliveries are what they will try to stop next.
But now, with a very real possibility of the overturning of Roe versus Wade, conservative states are focusing on the status of abortion pills. Republicans in certain states have already moved to restrict abortion pills. Some of the states include Texas, South Dakota, Kentucky, Ohio, amongst others. Many now believe that the limitations would lead to women seeking the pills from illegitimate vendors, which might adversely affect their health.
Republican lawmakers in states such as South Dakota, Texas, Kentucky, Arkansas, Ohio, Tennessee, and Oklahoma have moved to restrict access to abortion pills in recent months. A total of 19 states require a medical clinician to be physically present when abortion pills are given to a patient.
Experts now say that the number of women requesting prescriptions for abortion pills or information about their use have increased by almost 300% since the draft opinion was leaked. This as women seeking abortions are increasingly nervous about the potential loss of access to aid.
People understanding that this is going to affect them, especially if they live in these restricted states. So they're looking to access pills now. I had someone reach out who had a tubal ligation who wanted to get pills just in case her tubal ligation failed. Like, people are very, very worried.